Hey, we're back. Good afternoon, everyone. See where we are. We're in the middle of a macro period here. So let me just put it on the 1 minute until that's over. And we'll just give everyone a few minutes to join while we continue to watch this until 10 after. Queen's back. Looks like we got a bullish push during lunch, but nothing major. Just a little bit higher than what we had before. Then we got a rejection out of the area back down to the low end of the range that we saw from basically the opening bell until lunch. There was about a 40-point range that we were trading in, and you can see it denoted by the two black lines here with the sell side liquidity down at 280, and then buy side up around 325, 326. Nope, not over yet. Still chopping. All right, sell side liquidity may, well, not the actual sell side liquidity, but the short term one from lunch, the lunchtime low, might be in play just now. That's what I need to do. I need to mark up my session high and low for lunch. Here we go. And we're back. JR's back. Vivian's here. Sniper's back. All right. Since we're close to the end, let's go ahead and bounce back up to the 5 minute here. Go ahead and shift this to the next macro. I have to ask, was anyone in any position prior to lunch that they're still holding now? So we have on the 1 hour, we have a bearish fair value gap, but it right up against and overlapping a bullish fair value gap with the new day, new week opening gap in the middle. Yeah, it's very typical of a consolidation day when you get a hit of the new week opening gap or new day opening gap multiple times within a session. It looked like the lunch low might be the first target here as opposed to the lunch high. All right, let's go ahead and take a look over at our comparison chart just to take a look at the other indices and also the dollar, see how it performed during lunch. All right, I don't think I've really paid attention to the dollar since this 10 o'clock candle here where it pushed up, created the bearish fair value gap, sold off and closed pretty much to the low of the previous candle. From there, we had a doji, which generally symbolizes a change in direction, which we then saw the next candle buy up back to the fair value gap, but not penetrate inside. So we may actually in this hour get a push into the fair value gap and then push downwards for the dollar. Okay, we see the Dow is melting down already. S&P not quite, but also showing bearish momentum. Nasdaq, this is going to be the third hour. Well, the last 2 hours have finished bearish, but not by much. In fact, they're still higher than the opening of the 10 o'clock hour. So, yeah, everyone coming back from the morning session, you know what kind of price action we had. And for newcomers just joining for the afternoon, there hasn't really been a big swing in price since we had the opening bell. It's only been about a 40 to 50 point swing. And we still waiting for price to break out of its shell, really. Right, we do have equal lows here to pay attention to, so that's a good place, along with bullish fair value gap just below. We saw the bullish fair value gap support the EMA and S&P, and we're hoping we get something very similar on Nasdaq. So we may have to break these lows, dig into this area before finding support to bullish upside. Same even with the Dow. We have the Dow trading down now, but it is definitely bullish. We had a big impulse candle at 9 o'clock, which overtook the previous 3 hours worth of price action. And then we saw a break of the daily high. All right, let's get back to NQ. Make daily pay with me. I don't know if it's going to impact others. Generally, these things are regulated by, I guess, your government, your country's government. So I'm not sure if anything is going to happen to other countries. It just seems like the U.S. is leaning towards futures and allowing futures operators to continue. They're looking for some sort of regulation as opposed to just allowing these companies to exist. But it does seem like the CFDs aren't going to be working in the U.S. Much longer. That's if they're still working now. I never traded CFDs, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I've largely been ignoring the news because it hasn't impacted futures. So I'm not 100% sure there. It's healthy. Welcome. Good afternoon. All right, so we did get that sweep of the lunch low. So that's a good sign. Let's see now if there's some support here. I mean, I do know we were looking earlier for it to dig into the fair value gap here. That would be another sweep of these equal lows here down at 280. Well, let's bump up to the 15-minute and just watch price action from there for just a moment. All right, looks like we got a even further push through the lunch low here. Maybe seeking the equal lows that we've been talking about that we have on all time frames from the 15-minute down. Even the hour has the equal lows. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Add to the equal lows. All right, one more minute. Let's see if we can close out below this sell side liquidity, or at least sweep sell side liquidity, and see how price reacts. All right, there we go. Finally. All right, so we got a break of sell side liquidity now. We also have a trade into the bullish fair value gap on the 1 hour. Shark is back. All right, thanks, Shark. Good to be back, man. I missed you guys. Clearly, price action didn't miss me based on what it's delivering this morning. Mm-hmm. Miss, welcome. Welcome. Good afternoon. Mess, are you chiming in from France or from Montreal, or where are you coming from? All right, let's look and see if we get a pivot around 130, which is where we are now. We had a push at 10:30, then we had a push at 11:30, and now here we are. 12:30 didn't give us much at all. Well, I guess it did. It went the opposite direction. 12:30, it did pivot and push downwards. And now we're at almost at 130. So let's see if we get another push to the lunchtime high. Let's get rid of this marker so we have a slightly cleaner screen here. We still have the lunch high, the New York high, and the London high. Session high is wide open. All right, let's see if in this 5-minute candle we can get a push above 296. All right, that's more like it. We have a few more viewers this afternoon than we had this morning. I was a bit concerned that people have abandoned me. Another minute on a 5-minute candle, and we're getting close to the level that I wanted to see price trade to. What did I say? 296. So we're, oh, okay, there we go. Just past it. Now let's see if it'll close above. We got another 30 seconds or so. Pull over and take a look at E-mini S&P chart. Okay, very much the same type of price action. At least the last handful of candles looked exactly the same with the same proportion. Okay, we got equal highs on the wicks. We got a closure below the previous candle body high. So far has not created a gap of any kind. If we can refrain from pushing lower, we may have a small gap here on the 5-minute in Nasdaq. But we have 3 minutes before the candles close. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see, for anyone looking at the Dow, let's take a peek and see how it's doing. Yeah, not quite the same. Not quite the same bullish momentum here. We have equal lows though. You want to highlight the equal lows here. Oh, that's what I didn't do today. Midnight open needs to go in, and so does the 8:30. Oh, okay, I see where it is. All right, so now we can see pretty much our full session from the opening bell until now. Thanks, Queen. I appreciate that. Oh, sharp. Appreciate it. Okay, so Ray is here now. Yeah, Ray, vacation was really good. It was good. It was relaxing, and eat some really good food. Met some good people, so it was fun. Had a good time, and I peeked at the charts a little bit, but I didn't make any trades. I didn't look at it more than 10 minutes at a time. In fact, I didn't even open the laptop. I was just looking at it on the iPad a little bit. Yeah, me too, Ray. When I was looking at the dollar, because last week was just an inside range candle, I wanted to see it push lower and close, but it just traded in the zone, so I'm not sure. 15-minute bearish breaker at around 313. Oh, FX. What is it? Entropy. FX entropy. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. All right, let me check that for you, Queen, on the 15-minute. Let's go there. You see around the 313.5 mark. Hmm. I don't know, Queen. I can't really see it. Let's see. 313. We return to it until they're about 2018. Oh, geez. Okay. Uh, so were you looking at, if it's there, I was looking at potentially the 12 o'clock candle. Which candle were you looking at? Okay, I think I might see what you're talking about. All right, what do we have here? Getting really close to the macro period here. We'll see what happens there, but let me keep looking at this 15-minute. It's just, we'll drop down to the 1 minute in just a couple, but for now, put it on the 15-minute here. All right, so we've traded below, closed below, but this is still a 1 hour fair value gap, so it's not invalidated just yet. Could it be this? Hmm, I don't know. We'll give it another try. Yeah, you're not the first person to say my colors are inverted. I guess everyone's used to seeing the black candles represent lower values, and yeah, I guess I do have them swapped. I've told people before. I used to have the red candles going down, black candles going up. So that's how this pattern started, and I just changed the red candles to white just because I got tired of looking at the red candles. And I've said it that way because I'm spent my corporate career in finance and accounting, and so red numbers were always negative and positive was always black. So that was kind of how the price. I mean, that's how the color scheme started out. Yeah, Ray, you missed nothing this morning. Absolutely nothing. It was similar to when I checked on price last week and I saw Tuesday, Wednesday didn't really deliver anything. I was like, okay, it's a good week to go on vacation. Um, but Thursday, Friday looked like it was right and ready for trading. I mean, we have NFP this week as well. So without news today, and like you said, a strong close to last week, not surprising that price action is doing what it's doing. I think the best thing to do is really preserve your capital and get ready for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, we're getting close to the macro, so let's just drop down to the 1 minute here. Okay, there we go. It's now 150. So for the next 20 minutes, we'll be looking and see if our price trades into a key level that we're looking for. Two minutes. Wow, no fair value gap at all on the 2 minute. Okay, we got a small one on the 3 that it traded into and out of, and nothing on the 4 minute either. Okay. Nice, TJ. That's a good one. All right, Sniper. Catch you tomorrow. All right, we're continuing to put in higher lows on this low time frame. I want to reiterate, buy side liquidity is the lunchtime high at 18,327. Sell side is going to be our most recent low at 18,270. In a little action. Okay, not quite ready to do anything yet, it seems. Well, we have 2 o'clock coming up in just another minute. I was hoping we would have gotten a tap to one of these two levels, either 290 or 282 before it ran for buy side. Okay, it's 2 o'clock now. So any silver bullet traders, this is your time. Five-minute bullish breaker. Sweet. Okay, Queen. I see exactly where you are. That's and I think we might trade above that too. Okay, while we're waiting, you know what? Let's go ahead and check that out then. There we go. Dollar has been moving sideways pretty much all day, but you're right. Now in the 1 hour bearish fair value gap here, after trading down into the bullish fair value gap just before lunch. Let's look at where 50% is. I'm gonna just try to eyeball this. Yeah, close enough. Okay, so all three indices and a dollar right now are showing the same formation, the same candle formation on the 1 hour. I know it's just the first couple minutes, so they'll need to settle themselves and decide which direction they're moving for this hour. And we might actually get an answer once the dollar taps into this consequent encroachment value of around 103.845. All right, so during lunch, S&P and the Dow ran daily highs here. So they ran above their midnight values. Yep. However, on Nasdaq, we have not been so fortunate. Yeah, it seems like all three made highs during the 4 o'clock hour, but so far Nasdaq has just been selling off since. So Nas would be the weaker of the three. And in that case, looking for longs might not be a smart idea today, unless something changes soon. Okay, switching back over. All right, you're looking for something to get short. Ooh, let's look at price action, see if there's anything that we already have that might be a good retracement location. Okay, we got about another 4 minutes in this macro. Let's see what happens in those 4 candles. Looks like we're having a strong move during this current candle. All right, by 1 tick, there's a tap to the first level I was looking for. Which if price action wasn't so bad, I probably would have longed from there. That would have been where I would have wanted to long, not only for the price level that it's at, but also because of the time. Another minute, and we'll close out this macro. In fact, let me just go ahead and slide up to the 5 minute. Right, almost a candle closure. Okay, so on the 5 minute, looks like we have a failure to take over this high here. And that actually may be what pushes us down. It was going for a swing high here at 312. And now we're going for the low of the last candle. Right, so we already traded into OTE of this price leg from the lunchtime high down to the most recent swing low. Yeah, OTE would have been right here. Let's see, FX entropy. I'm overall looking for longs, just because of the long. If you look at the higher time frames, looking for longs, but looking at the more medium term time frames, it looks like we should be going downwards. We should be looking for shorts. But price has been really kind of iffy this morning, and I just put the fib. I just measured down this last bearish leg here, and we're trading right around 50%. So it's kind of one of those too close to call right now. But if we look at where we've been all morning, all the highs, the session highs are still open. So here's the lunch session high, hasn't been traded to, right? We have the New York session high, has not been traded back to. And then we had the same with London. The London session high has not been traded to. So that would also point to bearish price action. But we could see a sweep of all those levels. So it's just, if you can make a case for both sides, it's best to just sit on the sidelines for a little longer. Right. And we had these equal lows pretty much from this morning session swept here. So you would expect a bullish reaction. And we got a bullish reaction, but we didn't get any fair value gaps here, anywhere to trade back into to continue. So that's another reason why it doesn't look favorable for bulls. Um, but it's not really pushing bearish either. So yeah, let's give price a little time to settle and wait until we get to 230 and see if it's showing us something different by that point. Right? If you think about where we started on this session at 1 o'clock, we were at 18,103, and now we're trading at 18,102. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just right now not a good idea to jump in the market. I would say that lunchtime high would be sort of an easy target to reach or something to go for. But if you look at price action, all highs, not only the session highs have been protected, even other swing highs are not traded above. Right? Yeah, you're right, TJ. Anyone who had success on Thursday and Friday, they're feeling all the what is it, the endorphins from those wins and their account balance jumping higher, and so they're probably eager to get back in the market after having to sit on their hands for the weekend. Yeah. Yep, call it a good idea. We did something similar this morning. I'm trying to remember what time frame it was, but we entered several people in the room, and myself included. We entered longs. I feel like we were probably somewhere in this range. We entered longs. Um, you know what? Sorry, not on this candle. I think we were over here as it was retracing back down, and it just kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing, and most of us ended up closing right around break even or just above break even. I think I closed right at break even, and then we were waiting for a new setup. We got a new low put in. We looked for a new setup, and nothing really presented itself. I looked at it a little bit during lunch, which is normally I don't do that, but I looked a little bit during lunch, and it still didn't see anything worth jumping into. All right, looks like we might have some action over here now. This OTE, remember, is a measurement from this lunchtime high down to the swing low at right around 130. So this would represent the 62 to 78% retracement. Right around that sweet spot now of the optimal trade entry zone. Uh, this yellow oranges region above, this is the new week opening gap. So just keep that in mind. That's the new week opening gap. And then, of course, on the 1 hour, we have a bearish fair value gap overlapping a larger bullish fair value gap, which is why the screen is fully colored green and red. Okay, so right in the center of this optimal trade entry zone, the sweet spot there so far has been rejecting price the last two candles. So all right, so is this candle to balance price, or is this candle to start the sell? All right, looks like it's doing a little more than rebalance price. Uh, Power hour, yeah. Well, with the way price has been stalling today, my guess is power hour is going to be where probably the largest range is gonna happen. Usually, what we expect in power hour, especially if we haven't had it so far that day, is we expect a push towards the midnight open. And in this case, we'd be looking at around 18,350. It doesn't always reach the midnight open, but it'll make a push in that direction, looking for liquidity. So we have the lunchtime high that hasn't been touched. We have several swing highs in between, and then we have the New York high up just above the midnight open. So there's quite a few areas it can if it wants to trade higher. But we'll see how this hour closes first, and then we'll make some predictions for the 3 o'clock hour. 315. Almost, TJ. It got close. Let me make this a little larger. Let's get back over to take a quick look at ES and see if it's, yeah, looking a little stronger. I did highlight that a little while ago that Nasdaq was looking weaker than the other two. All right, 2:30, half past the hour. I'm just taking a peek at our comparison chart again. We're really close to that center mark on the bearish fair value gap for the dollar. We're almost there. And that's what I wanted to see. Once price made it to that mark, like how would it react? And based on its reaction, would the equity markets follow? Right. Matter of fact, let's just take a look at that right now. Right. So I have 103.845 marked up here. Price has reached 843. And I didn't make this scientific. I kind of eyeballed the 50% mark. So let me actually draw it so we can get an accurate measurement since it looks like it may not trade back up there. Okay, 847 is the accurate marking. Okay. All right, new high for the day on S&P. Right, we'll see if the Dow wants to also make a new high of the day and sweep 39,110. For anyone trading the Dow, 39,110, maybe your buy side liquidity that it looks for the rest of the day. Hmm. Let's get back over to NQ. Okay. Well, good job, Queen. You are definitely in profit right now. Yep. So this is the breaker that Queen was just talking about, the 1 minute breaker. She went long off of. So either you could go long off of 18,295, which would be the upper extreme, or anywhere in between. Optimal would be consequent encroachment at 18,290. And now we definitely have lots of bearish impulse action here. I'm sorry, bullish impulse action, which is what we've been looking for. If anyone was looking for longs, the OTE has been traded through. Holy smack. Look at lunchtime highs, non-existent right now. Right, so we got it. Lunch high is gone. Lunch low also. So now the only thing remaining is New York high and London high. I said normally, if it hasn't traded to it already, it likes to run for that midnight open at the last hour of the day. So we'll see if we get there before 3 o'clock. And if not, we'll look at that as a potential target for that hour. Anyone else who went long, congratulations. You should be heavily in the green. Six. Okay, up next, the 8:30 open. Let's see how price reacts once it gets there. Yeah, TJ, I'm trying to keep this kid friendly, even though I know there aren't any kids here. Right here. Yes. So first, I need to go down to the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute time frame, here we go. All right. So it constitutes a breaker. Would be going from a low to a high, or we can take that one. Sorry. Then we had to move lower than that, and then we had a close above here. So there's a swing low right here. Here's a low with a, let me make it larger. So we have a low right here with a higher low to the right and a higher low to the left. Right. So here's the one on the right. Here's the one on the left. When this swing low is broken through, then you want to see price come back and trade above. Which you did here. And then you're waiting for it to retrace back inside, either at the very edge at 294 or somewhere in consequent encroachment somewhere in here. And we had that traded here twice. And oddly enough, during the macro period. Oh, this is, I do remember this now. This is the one I said, you know what, I would long here, but the way price action has been looking, I don't feel good about it. And then all of you guys were talking about shorts. And I was just like, it's not, this isn't the one. This isn't an A+ setup. Okay, 8:30 open has been taken. Look at that. Midnight open just above at 349 and 352 is the New York high. You're short at 340. Okay. Yes. One. Yep. One trader. Yep. It was on the 1 minute. I know the 1 minute, sometimes it forms more often. And so sometimes you see a higher failure rate there, which doesn't allow you to trust it. But when I go through back testing, I typically find that the best entries are from the 1 minute. Confirming the 1 minute though is the hard part. And so that I'm still working on, but it does seem like for whatever reason, the 1 minute is where they form. Or yep. Yeah, anyone who entered anywhere around the breaker, it delivered 50 points. if that was your target. You know what? While we're here, let's just quickly look at the others. Just quickly. All right, so we do see a push down currently from the dollar. The Dow is looking really good. S&P, as I mentioned earlier, was the stronger of the three, or at least the Dow and S&P were stronger than Nasdaq, and you can see their price action and where price is right now. Looks like this hour bearish fair value gap is still in the way of Nasdaq, just like it was this morning. It's another 15 minutes though on this hourly candle, so we'll reevaluate in 15 minutes. Yeah, even here, when we see the first closure above the breaker, the first re-entry was the start of the macro at 150. Then it went through the entire macro, got around to the backside of it, and at 207, 8, 9, and 10, gave more entries. And on top of that, the one thing we probably missed here, at least on the 1 minute, because I'm looking at 1 hour fair value gaps, is we had a 1 minute fair value gap right here. So as it dug through at 150, there's a fair value gap right there with the breaker that it traded into. And on the backside, the same way. So that gave you your unicorn entry. And then who was that I was talking to earlier? I said, look for your pivot at the half hour mark. And then here at 2:30, we see price start its expansion. Oh yeah. Yeah, I saw that. These two right here, Ray, closed just below. I mean, it poked below and touched the consequent encroachment of the breaker itself. So if that was the entry you were looking for and waiting, yeah, it closed below the fair value gap in order to give that entry. Mm. Well, it's 2:47, so I guess I'll stay on the 1 minute since we have another macro coming. Yeah. Yeah, Ray. Same. I mean, it didn't get me out, but I have the same reservations when I see it close below the fair value gap. Then I think that it's going to fail, and we're going to see lower prices. All right, Queen said the 5 minute bullish breaker. Okay, retest at 8:30 open right now. Let's see if it pushes to midnight before 3 o'clock. Back in just a second. Let me just look at this 5-minute breaker situation. Thinking that might be here. And that 5-minute, let's go ahead and mark that. Got this big thing right here. All right, now let's slide back down to the 1 minute and watch the macro. Nope, same here. Yeah, didn't miss much. Yeah, this bearish fair value gap here is really holding price and has been all morning. Let me see if I can make this a little larger. Let's remove the new week opening gap just so we can see the screen a little easier. See the separation between the fair value gaps here. pushing for a close above the 830 open. Came in slightly below. So it's a third test of the 830 open, each closing lower than the previous. Okay, let's see if this candle can do it. Get over the 830 hump. Okay, power hour is coming up. We have power hour in just 1 minute. All right, now we have a close right at the 830. Yep, London high is still on the table. So New York high as well at 18,352 for New York. And London high is 377 and 3/4. So about 50 points higher than where we are now. So if we can get a retrace down here to the 5-minute breaker, then you could be potentially looking at a 70, 75 point move to the London high. Yeah, Shark, I see why you are considering that, because this fair value gap here has been strong. There's no denying it. Like, even if we scroll all the way back to earlier, right? Even 7:45 ish, 8 o'clock, price is just rejecting out of this area. TJ caught it. Okay. Hey, so if we're going short, okay, up next for liquidity is equal lows at 323. Okay, triple lows there, 3 of them. There we go. Equal lows there too, 4 of them. All right, first level taken. All right, equal low. Let's see if it keeps pushing. At the 50% mark now. Let's see if it sells out of here. almost there at 335. Let's see if it goes from 335 and then press down to 323 to take out those equal lows. Close enough. Okay, I was hoping we'd trade down into this to the 5-minute break or sometime during the macro period. It looks like that's not going to happen. Okay, so close right at 50% there. Now let's see if it sells off. All right, another test of the 8:30 open then. All right, since we are done with the macro, let's go back over and take a look at the full spectrum and look at the other indices as well. So make sure we're aligned for this last hour of trading. Okay, so far we are getting bearish activity from the dollar. It has not swept last hour's low yet, but we look for price to do that. And on the indices, it looks like all three are showing bullish activity so far for the first 10 minutes. With the potential for a fair value gap on all three indices. Okay, again, Nasdaq is the only one to not break its daily high so far. The other two during the last hour ran to a new daily high. Valid. Excellent, man. Good to hear. Uh, Probably daily high is what we want to look for. Which in this case, if you're on NQ, the daily high would be 377, which is the London high. So that was done during the 4 o'clock this morning. I do believe we did possibly. Let's see. Yep, the high was 372.75, and we took that during the 4 o'clock hour. So yes, we did sweep that. Let me mark that so we can all see. This would be Friday high. Yeah, we swept Friday's high, and then that sent price lower, which is basically where we are now. Yeah, so when I was talking about the daily high, I'm talking about today. So sweeping the 4 o'clock this morning's high from the London session. Oh, okay. I see now. So even though all three indices put up a new high or put up their high of the day at 4 o'clock this morning, which was Dow and S&P swept theirs during the last hour, none of them had swept Friday's high yet, which is what Nasdaq did at 4 o'clock. So it had pushed the highest, swept Friday's high, which is probably why Nasdaq hasn't been pushing for the rest of the day. But the S&P now has finally taken Friday's high, and the Dow still has not. Friday's high is at 39,172. Okay, we got 45 minutes left. Let's get back over to NQ. All right, let me just throw the new week opening gap back up just for a moment to see if we've traded above it. Okay, we have finally traded above and closed above the new week opening gap. So that's this yellow orange area in the center here. We're going to remove it again, but I just wanted to check in and see where we were. man, I like 312. All right, 18,356. Just looking at where a price may want to go. So if it takes out the New York high, we have half a standard deviation. It could close out here at 356 as far as its high of the day. Or if we're running for London high, then we have one standard deviation, and that's at 384.75. So just above each of the session highs, we have a standard deviation marker. If anyone's just looking for where to place a TP. Out of the 307. Let me check on that, Ray. All right, there we go. Froze up on me for a moment. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the 5 minute until we get closer to the end of the hour when we start looking at the macros. Right, so we've already had a retracement down to a discounted price. So we'll see if price wants to continue upwards or if we get a deeper retracement. All right, in about 5 minutes, we'll have half. It'll be half past the hour. We may see a little more price movement at that time, or it could just wait until 3:55, and then we'll see it run for not only the New York high but the London high as well. I'll just show you where we are on the daily right now. Oops. Okay, let's get rid of that. So you look at our daily candle. We're exactly where we started 1800 yesterday. No matter how big I make it, it's still, there's no candle body. So that gives me some encouragement for the end of this hour, where price will want to do something and not leave us with that as a daily candle. Mm. Just dropped into that same zone Ray was talking about once again. Oh, shark got us short. Okay. Well, I remember you originally took a short, and I thought we were over here. I wasn't sure if you were still in, but okay. Now it looks like the way price action is now, if you just play the zone, it seems like there's 10 to 15 points to be grabbed on either side. Second, all right, Shark. Yeah, I was hoping you would because I saw that big push down. I was like, okay, Shark's in a good place now. Yep, low point at 330, and then maybe this is our push to the top. Yep, or not. No, it's been a fun Monday. It's just one of those days, start to the week. There's no news. There's a big close at the end of last week. So not too optimistic here of anything, either direction. All right, there's that level I wanted to see hit. 312. Now let's see, what does it do here? Where are we going? Yep, right there. On for sell side liquidity here. Yeah, whoever caught that thing ran. Mm. Yep. Okay. Well, let me put the fair value gaps back up. Those are on the 1 hour. So once again, the 1 hour bearish fair value gap here held price at bay here. And now we have a bullish one down here that price is pushing towards. The one that used to occupy this entire center region looks like it's now been traded below, so it's not showing. All right, so we have a drop of about 50 points in the last 12 minutes. Still 2 minutes on this 5-minute candle. Cool, calm, collected. Good job. Congrats. Yep. Yep. Not a huge fan of closing below this fair value gap, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Sometimes we do have it where price will reclaim the fair value gap, which is what could be happening here if we get a closure above. Okay, we did get that closure above the fair value gap, so it looks like it has been reclaimed on the 5-minute time frame. All right, 140. You got about 20 minutes in the hour, another 10 minutes of prop firm trading. And so we got 30 minutes. Let's see what happens in the next 30 minutes and see how it shapes the daily candle. M Brown. Are we taking shorts? I'm not. No. But many people caught the short on the way down, and they may still be short. But no, I'm not. I'm not looking for short. I think if on this 5 minute, if we get to 5 minute to close below the fair value gap once again, then possibly you can look at shorts. But as far as shorts are concerned, I don't like this 5 minute candle here, the last one. All right, shark. 10-4. I hear you. Yeah, price action today has just been, its own little thing. All right, 2 more minutes. So we might get a close below that the 5 minute fair value gap, which could send price reeling even lower. I do know on the 1 hour during the last leg up, I measured it, and even though we had some good retracement into some fair value gaps, we have not traded down to discounted pricing. So we may be looking at that before it goes up any higher, which will take into this evening or even into tomorrow to get down to discount prices. Yeah, it's about another 75 points down. So, I mean, it's possible it could happen this afternoon. But, all right, 1 minute left on this 5 minute candle. We want to see where it closes, if it's above, inside, or below the fair value gap. Okay, so it looks like this fair value gap is going to be invalidated. And the breaker as well. Oh, there it is. Right, in about 5 minutes, we'll have that last macro period where we could see big price swings, even though we have just seen a big push downwards in the last 25 to 30 minutes. Yep, a lot of patience for sure. 244 and 231. Yeah, I'm also looking at 230 as that's where equilibrium is from that last leg up on the hourly chart. I think it's 231. Yep, 231 and a quarter. You're done. You're gonna stop here. All right, clean. Yeah, this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Queen. That consequent encroachment is the 38% retracement. You know what? Let's take this and drop down to the 1 minute. Who mentioned the 31? Brother Free. Yes, he mentioned that his target, his levels is at 18, 231. Another, so 231 is not only the 50% retracement of the last leg, but it's also on the 4 hour, also consequent encroachment of a fair value gap at the exact same point. Okay, we're inside of the macro period now. Oh, yep, 330. So another pivot. Oh, let's go. 5 more minutes. What are you going to do? Get rid of this. Yeah, let's see if this 1 hour fair value gap is similar to the bearish one that we've been seeing all morning and afternoon, where price will not break. It only trades into maybe even consequent encroachment, and then we get a failure. Let's see if this one is doing the same. The only difference I see right now offhand is it's already retraced pretty deep into the fair value gap. We have another one down around 220. Let's see. Yep, another one right here. What happens now? Well, we have another till 4:10 for anyone trading prop firms. You have until 10 after the hour to see if there's any price movement that it will entice you to make a some sort of short scalp. It's too late in the game if you're looking for a long, any type of long target that's far away, at least for me. But a bearish breaker after the sweep of the lunch high that sent us all the way down here. So when we swept Queen, when we swept the lunch high, the lunch high was here. We swept the lunch high over in this area around 230, 240. Okay. So we did have a higher close. We didn't have higher wicks, but we did have a higher close. Okay, well, this would have been likely, and this is a low time frame. So let's see what the queen say. On the 1 minute, this would have been the last down close candle before the sweep of liquidity. Then we had a breakdown below closing, trade back up, and it got just to the breaker there. Let's see what else might there have been. Actually, maybe it was this one. There we go. We got to close below, trade back in. Body stayed below 50%. Wicks were a little higher, and it sold out. I probably should grab both of those. Then it also gave you this little guy here. So there's your unicorn for the short. $330 candle. Yep. Oh, you saw it on the 5 minute. Okay, I just drew this on the 1 minute. Um, I would say this is for Khaled. Yes, I would say it is high probability if you were looking for shorts. Like if you were looking at the higher time frame and you were expecting the retracement down into either a discount from the last price leg or into a fair value gap that was below us, any of those type of things, then yes, I would have called this high probability. Um, Not only that, also you look at the time that it was during the power hour. You know that price is going to race for liquidity that's been hanging. And so, as I mentioned before, typically during 3 to 4, if price has not moved towards the midnight open during the day, that's what it'll push towards. But what we ended up getting was we got a push towards the midnight open during the 2 o'clock hour, and we got within 2 or 3 points right at 3 o'clock, right when the macro was over with. So yes, we could have, if we had been, well, if I had been really processing it that way, we could have been looking for sell side liquidity to be the target during the final hour. Yeah, Ray, that 1 hour bearish fair value gap has been extremely strong all day. So that was really the kicker. If you had believed that price wasn't going to break that. But now we know that we have a little deeper retracement going on. So now we can move into an even higher time frame and start looking to see where price may end up, whether it's searching for something on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, or the daily. As we stand right now, it's creating the fair value gap for tomorrow because you had a big bullish candle on Friday. Now you have a bear. We had a big bullish candle on Thursday and Friday, and now you have a bearish candle. So we'll have a bullish fair value gap sitting on the daily for tomorrow. Yeah, that's true, Ray. You're right. The 5 minute, we had 3 or 4 wicks, and all the candle bodies were below. One 44.75. Okay. Oh, okay. I see where you are. Yep. Yeah, the high of 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think now price is just going to continue trading down until we get to right around 18,231, and we'll see what happens from there. But that's likely where it's going. Again, that's consequent encroachment of the fair value gap on the 4 hour. And it's also on the price leg, the last price leg move up on the hourly. That's equilibrium on a retracement, the exact same spot. So that's where I'm looking for price to trade to and probably settle for the end of this session. Then it'll open up for Asia and we'll see what happens there. But as I also mentioned a few minutes ago, the close of today's candle will create a bullish fair value gap. So we'll see how price treats that tomorrow. In fact, let me just pull that up so we can see that before we get off. Ooh, let's get rid of eye candy. All right, so here's the daily candle right now. Wherever this lands, we'll then have the fair value gap that's going to sit right here for tomorrow. So we'll see. What did Ray say? He has 144. Okay. Right back down to the 1 minute. Okay, looks like price has calmed itself down and doesn't really want to push much further. So I'll use that as our cue to end today's session. I want to thank you all for joining again. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I was on vacation and then coming back today. And on your way out, make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Go ahead and subscribe if you are looking for invitations to future sessions. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:15, and tomorrow afternoon at 1300. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for being here.